Hello, this is Mark Wiltshire, and thanks for choosing to listen to the Explore Finland radio show. I'm planning to relaunch the show with a more regular monthly schedule. I want to keep the content coming to you a bit more consistently, as some of you have been demanding over the last couple of years. I'm lining up new interviews like the previous Artarizu show, and I'm going to supplement those with episodes like this one, based on my writing for Visit Seinäjoki. There are links to the original articles in the show notes, and also probably in your podcast player there. This episode is about getting back to nature and every man's right to live off the land. People often ask me, what's your favourite thing about living in Finland? And I always reply that, as someone who grew up in the suburbs of London, the thing I appreciate the most is being outdoors, surrounded by nature. And you can probably hear, I'm surrounded by nature right now as I record this. Regardless of the season, there's always plenty of opportunities to make the most of being outdoors. Nature trails. In my first Visit Seinäjoki Summer Tips article, I list 5 of the best luontopolut, or nature trails, in Seinäjoki. This is a great way to lose yourself in nature for hours, and while some of them remain pretty close to civilization, you'll soon find that all you can hear is the wind blowing through the trees or the waves of the lake lapping at the shore. These tracks are generally level, but their form can change regularly, from a gravel path through the woods to a wooden walkway across a meadow, to narrow duckboards over a swamp. It's a great way to get the kids away from their electronic devices, and they soon forget they're annoyed about it and start to enjoy a trek through the wilderness. Running tracks. If you're feeling more energetic, you'll find a selection of kuntoradat, or jogging tracks, which can be used all year round for cross-country skiing, when there's snow, naturally, or for running and cycling when there isn't. Wherever you're staying in Seinäjoki, there's probably a kuntorata nearby. You might be lucky enough to have one backing onto your garden. If you notice streetlights that seem to disappear off into the forest, they are illuminating the track as it goes snaking through the trees. Some of these tracks are maintained for the skiers in wintertime, so I always take care to avoid trampling over the ski tracks. The snow season can be pretty short some years, so it's only fair. Top 5 trails and tracks. Paukaneva luontopolku. Situated a few kilometres out of Seinäjoki, it needs a drive or maybe a short taxi journey to get there. But again, you have these wooden boards taking you across varied terrains. It includes some sections of disabled access. And if you follow the path far enough, then it will take you to a bird-watching tower where you can sort of get a higher perspective and a view across the flat plains of the Seinäjoki area. Jopilanvuori kuntorata. Seemingly located at the top or behind the hill, the Jopi hill in Seinäjoki. Only 2 kilometres from the centre of Seinäjoki. It has a longer route of 5.5 kilometres, but it's not too demanding track. Nearby is the Jopilanvuori accessible hiking trail, which has 1.8 kilometres of track, and this is also accessible to wheelchairs. Kurkisjärven luontopolku. Again, nearby to the Jopilanvuori tracks. This is in total 6 kilometres, but with a shorter 3.8 kilometre loop through the forest, across the swamp and past the lake. Number 4, Kalajärven, Kuntorata and Luontopolku. In nearby Peräseinäjoki, it has a 3.8 kilometre nature trail and a 1.5 kilometre jogging track, all located close to the Kalajärvi lake. More of that later. Number 5, Hulukallion Kuntorata. Again, a running and skiing track through the woods, but it also passes by the lovely Tanalinlampi lake and beach. Foraging in the woods. While I'm out in the forest, I always keep my eyes open for what Mother Nature has provided down on the ground. From late July onwards, it's possible to find blueberries, lingonberries, chanterelles, and many other types of mushroom. There are even wild strawberries and raspberries if you know where to look. The real beauty is that you're allowed to pick them. This is known as jokamiehen oikeudet, or every man's right. There are plenty of opportunities in Seinäjoki to exercise your rights. My suggestion is to ask your friends or family. They'll probably be able to point you in the right direction and lend you a bucket to collect your berries in. What you do with them after that is completely up to you. But in recent years, I've had jam, quiches and soup made from the ingredients I've collected from the forest floor. Just be sure to share your bounty when you get home. A bit more about every man's right. And the following information is taken from the Finnish Ministry for the Environment. Quote, everyone is basically entitled to walk, ski or cycle or ride freely in natural areas, as long as this causes no damage or no more than minor harm to property or nature. As long as they are not a protected species, flowers, wild berries and mushrooms may be picked freely wherever every man's right applies. Some restrictions apply to the collection of naturally growing products in nature conservation areas. Mosses and lichens may not be collected from other people's property without the landowner's permission." End quote. Every man's right, in a nutshell, applies to anyone living or staying in Finland. There's no need to obtain a permit or permission to enjoy every man's right. You cannot be prevented without just cause, and it's always free of charge. Exercising the right must not cause more than minor damage or disturbance. Using an area based on every man's right is not affected by land ownership. Every man's right does not apply to yards, cultivated fields and other areas under special use. Every man's right allows angling and ice fishing with a hook and line free of charge in most inland waters and the sea. Lure fishing requires a licence which can be purchased from the State Fisheries website, and there's a link to that in the show notes. If you're in a national park, or kansallispuisto, check the local rules as they can differ from park to park. Beaches. After a nice walk in nature, how about finding somewhere to cool off? Despite being about 70 kilometres from the coast, the quantity of lakes in Seinäjoki means there's still plenty of spots for swimming. To me, summer is not complete without a dip in the lake. Some of the locals may fuss about them being man-made lakes, but pay no attention. They're still perfect for boating and swimming, with beaches for sunbathing and playing games. Many of these lakeside beaches will have lifeguards, changing rooms and a small kioski, or shop, selling drinks and snacks. Some of them also have other sports facilities, i.e. beach volleyball courts, frisbee golf and diving boards into the lake. Top 5 beaches. Kalajärvi. My first experience of lake swimming in Finland, with a sandy beach leading down to the lake which has a shallow gradient, so it's great for kids. Includes a caravan park, a bar and restaurant, mini golf, and through the summer there's a series of concerts to keep you entertained. Tanelin Ranta. Tanelin Lampi is only a small pond, man-made but filled by a natural underwater spring, and is the home of my friends, the Lakoden ice hole swimmers. It's deep and cool with a lovely grass bowl around it, leading down to a sandy beach. There's also the nearby Tanelin Tupa cafe. Kurkasjärvi. Not too far from the Luontopolku and close to Seinäjoki Central Hospital. The beach at Kurkasjärvi is a great place to cool off after exercising on one of the tracks, or just relaxing on a warm summer evening. Sahalampi. If you're in the town centre, this might be the beach for you. Alongside a pool created by the meandering of the Seinäjoki River is a small beach for bathers, situated close to Malaskoski Brewery, and all only 1.5 kilometres from the town centre. Veneskoski Quarry. Located 12 kilometres out of Seinäjoki, this small beach offers a pontoon for diving and a shallow gradient, which again is ideal for kids. There's also a sauna twice a week. Wednesday and Saturday, it's open for a couple of hours, and all you have to do is make a small donation to use the sauna. And of course, when combined with the cool water of the lake, it's a perfect way to behave like a Finn when you visit Seinäjoki. The location is picturesque and it's well worth checking out. And if you look at the website capitalofspace.com, there's an incredible aerial view of the lake. You'll definitely make you want to go and check it out. I think that just about wraps up today's show. If you enjoyed it and you want to show your support, then please take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts. It'll just help me raise the profile of the show. Connect with me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, or on the website explorefinlandpodcast.com. In March 2019, on WordPress, where I host the Explore Finland podcast, Ali sent a lovely message about hearing the Ahtari Zoo podcast and planning to visit the zoo the next time she's in Finland, which is fantastic. Of course, you can also help spread the word to your friends on the social media network of your choice. Let them know about the show and invite them to explore Finland with us. Also, if there's a subject you want to hear me cover in a future episode, you can contact me via the website or social media. I'll be happy to hear from you. If this isn't enough and you want more, of course there's the back catalogue of Explore Finland. You could also search on your podcast player for the standalone Ahtari Zoo podcast or the Finnish football show. Otherwise, until next time, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Explore Finland radio show. Bye-bye.